Lauren, how are you?
Good. Oh, do you have one for me, Hillary?
She's going for the sodas already.
Now it's on?
Yep.
Yes. Good evening. Welcome to the December 2023 meeting of the Merrimack Valley School Board. We'll begin with attendance. Kristen's not here. Are you doing that? Ah.
You are now.
Oh,
Okay, for roll call, Celie Longnecker,
here.
Peggy Jones Blanchard,
Here.
Tracy Bricky,
Here.
Sally Hirsch Dickinson,
Here.
Jessica Wheeler Russell,
Here.
Laura Vincent,
Here.
Eric Hansen,
Here.
Daniel York,
Here.
Owen Harrington,
Here.
Lauren Martin,
Here.
Melissa Muzzy.
Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could I have a motion to accept the minutes of the previous meeting? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Additions, corrections, questions?
I know. It's true.
Hearing none, all those in favor of accepting the minutes as written, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
I'm going to abstain because I wasn't here last time.
Okay,
Same.
all right. Are you doing the minutes?
Where?
Okay. I will now open the floor to public comment on items that are on the agenda. Is there anybody who wants to comment? Okay. Next is the SAU report on MV Business and Finance. Hillary?
Sure, in this month's packet, you'll find the monthly. Am I on? I'm on. Okay. Sounds like I'm on. You'll see the financial report for December 2023. Most of our overages have not changed. We have them in special education for contracted services and in several of Fred's building improvement operations lines. Some of those will clear. Most of those are known. At the very bottom, you'll see we continue to have some of the 2,900 function overages. We've worked on clearing most of those out, but we do still have some overages in the salary lines, but we will transfer up from that 2,900 function.
Any questions for Hillary? Okay, good news.
All right, we have plenty of good news located in your digital packet. And today we have Dave Bartlett, the LES principal, and his supporting cast that you can see eagerly awaiting right here in the front row. They're going to do a little presentation from Loudon Elementary School.
So thank you very much for having us. We have four very excited young ladies to talk to you all tonight. They're going to talk to you about the timber harvesting we've been doing at Loudon Elementary School. Well, we haven't been doing it. We've been a part of it out in the land adjacent to Loudon Elementary School. And before I turn it over to Mrs. Kufos and these four young ladies, I did want to thank Mr. Charles Niebling, who I believe many of you know as the town moderator, who has been a part of this, and Mr. Nathan Corbin. He works for White's Logging. The students, all of the students and all the teachers have been working directly with them, and they have spent a ton of time and graciously given up their expertise and their knowledge to work with the kids and show them what sustainable forestry is all about. But I don't want to talk too much because they're going to talk to all of you about that. Mrs. Kufos first.
So yes, exactly what Dave said. It's been really great. I would have to say, just as a teacher. Oh, okay, there we go. As a teacher, like this opportunity has been wonderful. I could teach the kids, we could all teach the kids about timber harvesting and for what a forester is through textbooks, through videos on the screen. But these guys at Loudon have had the opportunity to actually be out there, talk to the forester, talk to the logger. They've seen it, they're hearing it, they're touching the equipment, they're touching the logs. It's really a very hands-on experience. We have last year, some of you may have heard, I was here with Jen McDonald, another colleague, talking about the outdoor classroom. I just think it's a wonderful opportunity to get kids outside. It helps those kids that maybe we can't always catch when they're inside the classroom, and this is just so much more engaging. Kim Beatty, one of our third grade teachers, shared this video with me. I wanted to play it for you guys because even for myself being out there to see this, I was wowed. And you can hear the kids in the background, and I think it really describes their excitement about what they're getting to see and learn about. So you have to watch the tree come down, maybe. Oh, can't hear it. Oh, there we go. Yep. So you saw the tree come out. Now you can hear it. So they're clearly not getting that in our classrooms. Can't be taking down a tree. And I definitely don't have the expertise to take that down. It would not have gone so smoothly. And then the next slide just has pretty much what Jay was saying. A huge shout out to Mr. Niebling and to Nathan from White's Logging. They just really, I mean, it's been an opportunity to have co-teachers, to have these people, these experts help us teach all these great things. But like Dave said, I don't want to talk about this because that's what the girls are here for. So we've got, okay, they want to introduce themselves. They are on top of this. I'm just going to step back and let them go.
I will. Good evening. I'm Sophia Costello, and I'm in Environmental Kids Club. We go outside on Thursdays and study nature. It's for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, and it's an opportunity to get outside and learn about nature, like how to identify different trees and barks.
Hello, I am Gabby, and in Environmental Kids Club, our goal this year is to make a book for the other people in all the grades who are not in Environmental Kids Club, so they can learn about the nature and trees and stuff like that too. But it's not going to be one of those boring books with those long words no one can understand or pronounce. It's going to be a fun book that has, yes, some learning too, but also fun activities like leaf rubbings and how to do them, like some crossword puzzles and stuff like that. Just fun stuff, not boring stuff. And now I'm going to pass the mic to Emery.
Hi, I am Emery, also grade 5, and I am going to talk about the timber harvest. The white pines this year have produced a lot of pine cones. The pine cones have made tiny white pine trees. The white's logging was cutting down big trees so that the small trees can grow, which is a good move for the environment's sake.
Hello, my name is Emma Costello, and I am in 4th grade, and I'm going to talk to you about what the trees are being used for. There are machines to take down the oldest trees that are over 100 years old, and they're making paper and boards to build homes. And the loggers left logs, and Mr. Niebling is going to bring his sawmill, and he's going to show us how to turn the logs into boards. And Mr. Bartlett is going to make a bench for our school next to his office.
And then just another thing that we're going to do is that because they are having these small seedlings that are starting to sprout up, classes are going to be going out and marking them with the mindset of like where I teach kindergarten. When my kids, before they go off to the middle school, will be able to go to our little plot of trees to see where they're at. And then the hopes when they come back for the graduation march, as the graduating seniors, we can march them up in there so they can find their tree to really see how much bigger it is. So there is definitely there's a lot of things happening right now, but we can see things continuing on to the future. So they had some questions that they wanted me to ask them. So I don't know who wants to start, but they wanted me to ask what they have found interesting about being a part of Environmental Kids Club or the timber harvest that we're having.
In Environmental Kids Club, I found a pine cone that was opened up on the ground, and I noticed that I found one that was shut like this, but this one was opened up when I left it inside for a couple of days. This one is wet and it's closed up because that it didn't open up yet because it's not dry and the bugs are staying in the prevent
The seeds are staying inside.
Yeah. to prevent the bugs from getting inside.
So, what I found interesting about the timber harvest was they didn't just like show you how to do stuff. For example, they taught us how to measure a tree to see how many boards you can make out of it, and instead of just telling us and then moving on to the next thing, they let us actually try it so that it's a better way to keep it in your mind and not just forget it. And Environmental Kids Club is interesting because you could just go around in the world knowing nothing about nothing. And in Environmental Kids Club, you can know about nature, how to like protect it, what stuff about it, and things like that, instead of just going around clueless like, I don't know what this tree is called, I don't know how to identify it, and I don't care.
I found the harvest interesting because they let us observe it, not just like stand there and just tell us like, oh, we're cutting down trees. They could just like let us watch and do stuff.
I think Timber Harvest was interesting. Is how they told us what the trees were called and what the machine does to take the trees and chop the trees down.
Thank you, girls. So I just want to give these girls a kudos. I look at them. So I, ironically enough, on the way here, realized I've had all 4 of these girls when they were in kindergarten. So to think that they're here speaking to you guys, because this, if I was that age, I would have, like, this isn't even my thing right now as a grown up. So nice job, girls. I don't know, Mr. Bartlett.
So does Environmental Kids
sorry.
Club
We
go
probably should-
on all year, or it
So we're going to go on. Right now we're scheduled to go into February, but it all depends on the book. Like if we get the book done or not. We had talked about whether or not we got the book done. It's a kind of work in progress, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, we meet once a week on Thursday mornings. These girls actually were pretty dedicated. They came in on Friday morning, and then they even took a working lunch today to get their notes together. So pretty good.
outstanding? Thank you so much. We really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
All right, you guys can follow Mr. Bartlett. Thank you.
Where are we? Nick,
It's your turn. I see you dressed for the occasion.
Oh, yes. Oh. Thank you. Well, it is December, so pretty good deal at Sam's Club. Only $20 for this, so.
Nice.
I know, right? So I have a few things for you guys tonight. Students venture to Bow High School for the military fair on November 15th. This was a great opportunity for students to explore the different services. The Valley Cheer program will be hosting a craft fair in the high school gymnasium on Saturday, December 16th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. This will include raffles, a bake sale, and 40 plus vendors. So a great way to support the cheer program. The National Honor Society will be running a fan favorite annual high school serenades this month. For those of you that don't know what serenades are, students can buy serenades and pretty much they can buy it for a friend or whatever. And then members of the National Honor Society will go around to their classroom and like dance and sing around them. So it's pretty fun. The high school hosted the annual Apply New Hampshire Day, and 53 seniors applied for a college. Up there, that piece of artwork you can see behind you, that was created in art of woodworking. It is the district landmarks on a slab of olive wood. The wood was burned by Abby James Bensler and Mason Rowe, and the wooden stand was made by Wyatt Gilman and Kieran Harper. The theater department put on 3 successful nights of their one-act plays, Dinner with the MacGuffins and Take 5. Winter sports have begun, and currently the varsity boys team is playing Brewster Academy in the gym. So if you're wondering why all the cars are here, that's why. And I have a few Christmas jokes. Starting with, how does sheep say Merry Christmas to each other? Feliz Navidad. Why did Rudolph have to attend summer school? Because he went down in history. What does Santa suffer from if he gets stuck in a chimney? Claustrophobia. That's all I got.
Thank you. Excellent. Moving on to committee reports, we'll begin with finance.
Finance, we have met twice. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because I'm not very loud.
Debatable.
We have met twice since the last time we met here. We received a draft agenda last week and this week with even more things cut out of it. We did hear about health and dental. We talked about this at our last meeting. Well, at our first meeting, I spoke to you about the fact that health and dental, we had 21.8% was the limit. So that's what we bargained for. We do have some pretty interesting, I find it interesting. The things that we have no control over, the health and dental, the collective bargaining agreements, and the special ed increases are, they account for $2,519,493 of the overall increase, which is 99.61%, which means that we have control over less than 0.5% of the increase. When we a few years ago, when we talked about the budget, we talked about setting a limit on what we thought that the district should increase by, and we shouldn't be any higher than 5%. We shouldn't be any higher than 2%. And given those facts, one of the things that I talked about was it really, if we need to look at right now, if we were to cut the budget, all we could cut is people or programs, things that directly impact students. And that's not something that I'm willing to do. I have to give kudos to Kathleen and Hillary and everybody at the SAU for working diligently to get this budget at the very bare minimum for us. And they are still continuing to do that. We have 2 more meetings set. And hopefully we'll have, before Christmas time, the budget that we would like to present at our district meeting.
So we do a draft budget that the board agrees in January, hopefully, to present at the budget hearing.
Uh-huh.
And then after the budget hearing, we reconvene our January meeting and finalize what we're going to present at annual meeting. Have I
Yes.
got?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, just those of you who are newer to the board need to know those steps will happen. Do we have the date of the budget hearing?
I have.
I know we're setting dates for other things,
Sure.
so we could do that later.
We
if-
can,
if
and
that-
I have sent the timeline to our legal team just to make sure all of our dates are right, but I believe it's typically the fourth Thursday in January,
Right.
typically.
Yeah,
So that would
okay.
be the 25th.
Budget hearing, January 25th.
Yes,
What day of
But I
the
will-
week is that?
Thursday.
Thursday.
typically
It's
the
always
third.
on a Thursday. Yeah, okay. All right, I know I went off script on that.
No,
but-
that's great. I wish that I had thought to do that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Anything else? You good?
I'm good.
Any questions for Tracy from the board? Okay, policy committee?
We met. I could tell. So policy met on Monday, November 20th, and we discussed 2 policies. My brain is a little slow. The first one would be a new policy for us, and we had a really good dialogue on it. We don't have anything presented today. Both of these we want to revisit and need a little more time with. But the fiscal accounting would be a new policy for us, and we wanted to look at how we could include revenue, not just the spending. And then the second one is the use of restraints and seclusion, and that one is being amended based on some new legislation. So we are very fortunate to have Catherine have gone to some training recently to answer some of the questions that came up at our meeting, because it does make a very restrictive view of what does restraint and seclusion look like. And so questions came up about like suspensions or in-school suspensions and stuff like that. So, and what that looks like in school. So we're going to continue that conversation, and we do have a proposed date, but when we get to dates, we can look at that then. But we don't have anything for you guys to look at tonight.
Okay, thank you. I do think we should set some committee dates now. Yeah,
I'd like to set a long-range plan committee meeting for next Monday, following the finance committee, so at 6:30. So the 3 of you that are on finance are on long-range plan, so you won't have too far to travel. We'll be over at the SAU. So if we could do that, and we do have, there's a proposal to possibly dig a little deeper into what the long-range plan committee has on its agenda. So beyond the long-range plan where we set yearly goals, it's been brought up that maybe we should discuss the idea of some legislative priorities and look at some of the legislation that's out there. So we can discuss that at Monday's meeting as well.
The 11th.
okay, other committees? Yeah.
So policy, we were tentatively looking at the 18th at 6:30. However, we haven't had a curriculum meeting in a little while. And I know we had been thinking the 11th, but we have the long range plan need that's pretty pressing. So my proposal would be this: what if we had the curriculum on the 18th at 6:30? Because we do have a presentation planned for then. Policy, that would mean we wouldn't meet again till January, but what I could do is send out the draft of the restraint and exclusion, which is pretty
Perfect.
heavy, and we could all look that over before the next time we get together.
That would be great.
Thank you.
So wait, so can you say again? So policy will be,
Policy will be in January.
Oh, so we're
So
not
we'll-
going to give a date?
Right,
Okay.
we'll wait till our January meeting to pick a date.
So why 6:30 for curriculum? Do we,
We have 5:30.
Finance.
oh, finance is at 5:30.
Right.
5:30
If-
meets
if
every
needed.
day.
Long range,
Yep.
curriculum, correct?
5:30 meets every Monday.
So
So-
the 11th would be finance long range.
Yep.
The 18th would be finance curriculum.
Got it. Any questions? Okay. We have set committee meetings. It appears that we don't, what, go ahead.
I just want to remind policy that if you have any suggestions for the policy, just send them to Catherine so that we don't end up trying to discuss policy that we might be reading outside of the meeting. So if you do have anything that should be updated before we meet in January, just send it directly to Catherine, if that's okay with you. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. It appears we don't have any old business, but we do have a couple of things under new business. And I'm going to turn this over to Randy.
So there's really nothing for action, and these dates have already been in front of you before, but I just wanted to remind folks that the annual meeting is March 8th, which is a Friday at 7 o'clock, and which bumps our, usually we have the first Monday, but we bump it to the following Monday in March because that's our organizational meeting. So that will be Monday, March 11th will be the board meeting for that, for the month of March. Again, that's an organizational meeting. That's where we look at chairs, we look at, committee assignments and things like that. And we pretty much keep that really to be our order of business for the month of March.
Okay, so we don't actually have to do any action on that in spite of that X? I'm giving you a hard
It's
time.
just in case.
Yeah, all right.
We did have to act if somebody said, wait a minute.
Okay. We have a personnel update.
Sure. In the packet, you'll see that December 1st was the deadline for support staff to turn in retirement notice. We received 4, actually 2 were received after the packet was completed. You'll see Monica Barksdale, special education classroom assistant at Boswin. James Carey, he's the job coach here at the high school. Christian Bodie is a special ed assistant here at the high school as well. And the Queen, Barbara Huckins, the executive assistant at BES, has
No.
submitted her
Is she
resignation.
really?
She is.
Wow. Hmm.
The Queen.
Okay. Let me see, where are we? Moving right along. Manifests and journal entries. You all have seen them electronically. Tracy and I have signed off on them. Could I have a motion to accept them, please? All right, moved and seconded. Any questions, comments? Yes.
So there were 2 things that I noticed when I was going through them this time. The first was, it says that Mark McLean still has access to them. Should he?
We haven't, on some of the documents, we're in the process of moving him from owner. We need to keep that account active while we move things from the owner to shared drives.
Okay.
So,
But he doesn't technically have access.
no.
Okay, yeah, it's just, it caught my attention and I
It's,
just. was-
it's in name, so we have control of the account, and what we need to do is, like I said, to move it to a shared drive, which is sort of the new structure that we go with, you need to be the owner of that. So we're going through some of the things we don't need, so we don't need all 60,000 documents, but there are some that we need, so we're in the process of transferring those over. We're actually working on that this morning.
Oh, okay, excellent. And the other thing, and, I'll acknowledge is a little bit awkward, is I know that Eli is employed by the district in the summertime. I noticed that he was on payroll, or he was the recipient of some sums of money from the district for, a few weeks. And I think this actually goes back a couple of months. So I'm wondering, is he still employed by the district?
You're talking about my son?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. He works as a custodian after school hours, 3
Okay.
days a week.
All right, so I just wanted to, because I wasn't aware that students could be employed during the school year, so I just was.
Yeah, as long as
curious.
it's not during the actual school day, like you
Okay.
can't say I'm going to skip English and get
Glad
paid
to
to
hear
do
it.
something else.
Okay.
But yeah, we're down some custodians, so there are a couple of kids, and he's one of them that's doing that.
Okay, great, thank you.
Sure.
That's awesome. That's cool. Good job.
They take pride in what they take care of.
We need to vote on the manifest and journal entries. We have a motion and a second to accept them. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I really don't have anything to report, so I'm going to turn it over to Catherine.
Thank you. So over the course of the past month, Randy and I have been meeting with each of the administrators around the district. We still have a few left to finish up. We first met with each individually over the summer, and we discussed professional and personal goals for the year. And in our most recent meetings, we've been checking in and discussing their progress towards their goals. We've celebrated some successes, and we brainstormed some potential solutions to challenges that they may have. And additionally, we have been seeking feedback during those meetings to guide our work at the SAU level. And I think I can safely say, and I think I speak for both of us when I say this, that Merrimack Valley is incredibly lucky to have the experienced and dedicated administrative team that we do have. As our admin meetings are drawing to a close, we're looking to begin our meetings with new teachers. So those of you who've been on the board, I'm sure remember hearing about this in the past. So over the course of the next month or two, Randy and I will meet with each of the new teachers in the district. We'll bring them a hot beverage, and we're going to listen to their experiences in our classrooms. And the goal is to learn from these individuals and ensure that they are feeling supported and valued. Thank you.
Thank you. Randy?
All right, so my report is budgets and weather and presenting, oh my. So as you've heard, we've been, knee deep or maybe further into budget. So that certainly is, using a lot of time and energy as we try to do the best we can while still, for the kids while being fiscally responsible. And as you saw this morning, we're in the midst of winter weather and those calls. So that started at 3:40 this morning, and luckily ended at around 5 o'clock when we got to make that call after we had folks weighing in from road agents and transportation folks and everything else. And maybe we got one right this time with the 2-hour delay. So I didn't get any hate mail this time. So that's pretty impressive because, usually there's some. And as far as presenting, last week I got to present at the Chris McAuliffe Technology Conference remotely on a panel looking at and talking about artificial intelligence. And I've also been a representative for New Hampshire to speak to the U.S. Department of Education. That's going to be coming up over the next couple of weeks, where we look for, where we're at, some of the things that we see teachers using, and where we think this might go, and how we can use it for good and not evil. So that I'll certainly update you on that, how that goes with the U.S. Education Department. I imagine it'll be interesting, and I'm honored to have been called upon to do that, to represent New Hampshire. And just one last thing, we had a couple of inquiries about the timing of the DOE 25, and we were granted extensions and worked very closely with the New Hampshire Education Department and our auditors to make sure the information was factual. Our current financial software has a number of faults, which you've heard of, that you've heard us mention, that generated some information that needed to be double checked. This essentially led to a line-by-line reckoning of all of the transactions from the year to ensure accuracy. This is not how we like to do business. We take pride in our jobs and we work hard. The issues that we have with the system, being late with reporting, knowing that puts other folks in a tough situation and holding them up wears on our staff daily. It's, certainly something that I've seen. That being said, we do feel that we owe it to the taxpayers to be correct rather than fast. So just to give you, I know that, some of you may have received some emails. I just wanted to sort of put that out there. And, we were, again, working with the department and the auditors every step of the way. And that's about it. So
I asked Hillary whether we think we've resolved this, so this is not going to be an annual
Yes,
event.
this will not
Do we
be an
know?
annual.
Can you say that publicly?
no, I cannot.
Well, you better.
We have figured out some things that will minimize some of the faults to the system. So we're looking at more frequent chats with our auditor and figuring out how we can just minimize the things that we know that we can't change. So I think that we've come to a place that we should be able to have this in a more timely fashion next year. That's our hope.
Thank you. Nothing like putting you on the spot. Yeah.
Did this have anything to do with changing the computer systems?
That's, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Topics for the next board meeting? Anyone? Yes.
So I don't know if this is a topic for the next board meeting necessarily, but I did have someone reach out to me about the fact that apparently there's a sizable vaping problem in the high school. And so this might be something for policy if to see whether or not we have what our policy is around vaping and consequences for vaping. They're concerned, in addition for the health of those who are engaging in this behavior is also for the those who, are inhaling the chemicals that are left behind. So I just, it was something that a concerned parent had let me know about. And so I just thought I'd kind of toss it out and see what happened.
To not get too far into it, this is a nationwide, every high school problem, not a Merrimack Valley problem. We do have policies in place. We're looking at some restorative justice, some training, and certainly I could have someone come in and give the board a presentation on some of the steps that we're taking to try to mitigate that vaping. So I don't want to promise a date and tell you I'll have them here at the next meeting, but I can definitely get someone to come and talk to you about this, very large problem. And, we've looked into things like vape detectors, and then we get, well, you're kind of only halfway there, so really it's that mitigation and the education that we'll be looking at. But I will get someone in here to talk with the board about that.
Okay, great, thanks.
Anyone else? Okay, I will open the floor to public comment. Is there anyone who wishes to comment? Bill, and then you.
Thank you, Nick. Randy and Hillary, just on that last point, the comment you made about the DOE being late and whatnot, if just a little constructive criticism, if you could have shared that with us sooner, that would have been, that would have helped me from maybe poking you a little more often than I should have.
Thank you.
I guess mine isn't so much a comment. Leanne Roberge.
What town?
God. From Bosquen.
Thank you.
We used to work together. That's why she's harassing me so badly.
Oh.
Mine's not so much a comment. I was here to request a policy change. But since last week, I've been unable to find the policy that I was told was your policy. So what my issue was is last Monday, my 11-year-old, who is a sixth grader, missed her bus stop. I was told Tuesday that your policy is when this happens, as soon as the driver is made aware that the student has missed their stop, he will drop them at the next stop as long as it's within 2 miles of their home. Parents are not notified. I guess it doesn't matter if the child is unfamiliar with their surroundings. I'm just having trouble finding that policy. So I was unable to find a policy in your regulations for what you do in this type of circumstance when a child misses their stop. However, if I'm missing it, I don't believe that it should be that they should be just dropped as long as they're within 2 miles of their home. So that's why I'm here, is to request that either your policy be changed if I'm missing it, or that you establish a policy that makes a little bit more sense for the safety of the child. My daughter was left to walk home a half mile from her bus stop, somewhere that she's never been, and we were not called. Fortunately, my husband happens to get our daughter off the bus, so he let me know as he walked back to get the vehicle. I contacted the bus department and found out where my daughter had been left. So that's my request, is that you guys maybe come up with a policy.
Thank you. Anyone else? Is, no?
Okay.
Do we need non-public?
BNC.
What? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Sam Rose from Loudon, and I'm curious what the board or the teachers at the high school are thinking now that we're a ways into the year about how the new cell phone policy is going and how consistent that has been held up. I have 2 high schoolers of my own, so I've heard their perspective. And then also, I wanted to present the idea. I've heard of other schools who are able to block certain social media sites from the Wi-Fi that's accessible in the school. And I'm assuming that everyone knows just how awful Snapchat in particular is. But in case you are not aware, now, just since school started in October, Snapchat now allows any kid to, if they have an account, they can sign up with their school, and then anyone in that group can post anonymously, and anyone in that group will now see that post. I think it has contributed to some of the fights that have happened during the school day, because I've heard of some pretty atrocious things that have been, just terrifying, invading privacy of students that have been posted on this public site. And any kid who is in the group has seen that. I'm not going to go into details of what they are, but anyways, I would love to hear that the board is doing everything that they can do for that.
Thank you. Anyone else? BNC? Could I have a motion to go into non-public session under RSA 91A 32B and C?
A
Is-
second.
That's a roll call vote, please.
Celie Longnecker,
Yes.
Peggy Jones Blanchard,
Yes.
Tracy Bricky,
Yes.
Sally Hirsch Dickinson,
Yes.
Jessica Wheeler Russell,
Yes.
Laura Vincent,
Yes.
Eric Hansen,
Yes.
Daniel York,
Yes.
Owen Harrington,
Yes.
Lauren Martin,
Yes.
Melissa Muzzy.
Yes.
Okay. We will go into non-public. We will come back into public session shortly, I think. If people want to come back in, you're welcome to do that.
I'm trying to find it. Yeah.
Mike, hey.